track showdown rather on one of the most historic tracks in NASCAR. Welcome into our race day studio, everybody. I'm John Roberts alongside of crew chief Jeff Hammond and two-time series champion Todd Bodine. Todd, we got a great combination here. We got a playoff race at a short track.
Absolutely. I think in the round of 6, this is the most important race that there is, because one in particular reason, you can dig yourself a hole at Martinsville that you can't dig out of. If you don't get stage points, if you don't get a good finish, you're going to have a hole that you can't get out of in 2 races.
And to make that hole just a little bit deeper, guess what? No practice, just qualifying. These guys haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to figure it out. And on top of that, can you believe 8 out of the last 10 races, they've had 10 cautions. So we know there's going to be a lot of mayhem today.
Yep, this is a recipe for a great event this afternoon. Now, we're at one of the smallest tracks on the circuit now, but 2 weeks ago, the trucks took to the biggest stage of the season to see who would be eliminated from playoff contention.
A picture-perfect day. Looks peaceful and calm on the outside, but 32 drivers are protecting their nerves and feeling anxiety from the chaos that's about to take over. It is Talladega.
Green flag. Green, 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 green.
Oh, we got trouble. Couple of trucks tangle, and they get away with it.
Easy, easy, easy. My front's killed. Stuff's flat.
This could be big trouble.
Oh, the trouble. Now they're crashing. Fontaine is in it. Johnny Sauter's in it. Matt Crafton pounds the outside safer barrier. Ben Rhodes gets a huge chunk of that.
Johnny, do you want to just go behind the wall? Came here to race. Let's fix it. Hang on, right here. Hang on.
Todd Gilliland gets turned, and he's hard into the inside safer barrier. Truck goes airborne as it pirouettes towards the opening of pit road.
Timothy Peters has won races here before. He's very good and very experienced at super speedway racing in the 25 truck.
Haley and Gregson, some contact, and Gregson goes around, and they're wrecking at Talladega.
And Peters was ahead when we saw that caution.
And Timothy Peters will get his 3rd Talladega win.
Hell yeah. Oh, my goodness. It feels so good.
So, after all that, here is the playoffs leaderboard. We have Johnny Sauter out front. Grant Enfinger is on the good side of the cut line. Justin Haley and Matt Crafton are on the other side of the cut. But out of the drivers that got eliminated, how do you now approach it? Because you're out of championship contention, but you're still on the racetrack.
Well, if I'm Ben Rhodes, I'm out for a little redemption, you know, not only for what happened at Talladega, but he should have won this race in the spring at Martinsville. Won the first stage, he won the second stage, led 134 laps, and they have the pit stop, and he comes out 16th, and all he could get back to was 12th. But he was the guy that they had to beat. So if I'm Ben, I'm out for a little redemption.
Yeah, and if I'm Stuart Friesen, who you kind of talked me into, is no longer around as far as the playoffs, but he still has an opportunity to win a race. And I think the pressure's off. I think he was trying so hard in these playoffs, he got himself in trouble. Look for this guy to be dangerous, because he has the most second-place finishes more than anybody as far as the Truck Series is concerned.
Yeah, and there's still a lot for these drivers to gain this season. Now, earlier today, Hermie Sadler caught up with the driver who's already on the bubble.
Well, John, last time we were on the racetrack, Talladega, Matt, you got crashed out of the race, and then you had to watch and wait. How stressful and agonizing was that for you to watch your fate be determined by other drivers on the racetrack?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I live and die by it. I mean, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And I sit there and watched for a little while, and then I left, and then I came back when it was like 5 to go, and I'm like, well, we're going to see if they're going to wreck again in the 41 if he gets the lucky dog. So at the end of the day, we got there, and we've got really good 4 racetracks coming up for us. I mean, we won at all of them. We've been very close at Phoenix. We ran second at Phoenix, and I've won races and other stuff out there. So very confident going in there, very confident here, and we're looking forward to all of them. I'm excited about today too.
That's the question. We've talked a lot about the ups and downs of the team for this year, but how confident are you with the races that are left and what you know about the makeup of this team that you can find a spot at Homestead and still have a shot to snag this trophy?
Old, determined grit compared to the young kids. I mean, I want it a lot, and we've done it before, and we know we can do it. So they'll know we're here the next 4.
Well, John, Matt Crafton, a winner, former winner at this racetrack. He'll start 10th here today.
Yeah, Hermie, the key word we heard out of that and Matt Crafton was confidence, Jeff. But what's in the immediate future for this veteran?
He may be going to victory lane today, guys. He may be starting 10th, but I loved what I heard. I hear this guy is back. He's got a renewed, basically he's resurrected, because I thought a few weeks ago, just attitude-wise, in interviews we were listening to, he wasn't going to have a chance, Todd.
Yeah, you know, all year long, I've talked about the lack of performance out of Matt and crew chief Junior Joyner, but that's gotten a lot better the second half of the year, and going into the playoffs, it got even better. And I think it's experience that what got him to the round of 6. You know, he got a lot of stage points in those 2 races before Talladega. 2 top 10s in those races, knowing that he needed points when he went to Talladega to guarantee himself into that round of 6.
He's dangerous.
And it worked.
He's dangerous.
And 2 more words: survive and advance. Coming up, we'll hear from last year's Martinsville winner as he tries to carry on the championship legacy at Kyle Busch Motorsports.
I definitely feel like we are championship contender worthy. Just got to keep on doing what we know how to do, and just really fortunate to be able to run with Kyle Busch Motorsports.
And while some drivers may have come to Martinsville hoping to settle old scores, others are just trying to make a name for themselves. We'll let you know who could be a playoff spoiler when race day returns.
You're watching NASCAR Race Day only on FS1.
How about that 88 of Matt Crafton?
What a great job Matt Crafton has done.
Justin Haley is a Truck Series winner. Justin Haley comes through to win the playoff opener.
Grant Enfinger will win and move to the round of 6 in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs. Noah Gragson will see the checkered flag, and Noah Gragson wins.
Side by side at the line, it's Brett Moffitt. He's done it again.
Johnny Sauter will be regular season champion. Now they're crashing. Johnny Sauter's in it.
Johnny Sauter's already clinched a spot to the round of 6.
Noah Gragson was one of the preseason favorites to win the Truck Series championship this year after being paired with 3-time championship crew chief Rudy Fugle. But with that experience also comes pressure to perform.
Be huge to be able to win this championship. I would have never have dreamed to be racing in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, much less to be competing for a championship. And being with Kyle Busch Motorsports, there's both pros and cons. The cons would be you have a lot of pressure and big shoes to fill. But the pros to it, I know that I'm going to have a fast, safe light Autoglass Toyota Tundra when I get to the racetrack. And I feel like I have the best team in the Truck Series garage with Rudy Fugle and the rest of the guys. Rudy's been a really great crew chief and mentor and kind of a father figure to me. So I definitely feel like we are championship contender worthy. Just got to keep on doing what we know how to do, and just really fortunate to be able to run with Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Yeah, that's one of those scenarios. You got a great truck, but you're expected to perform. What do you think is next for these guys, Todd?
Well, you know, all year long I've been talking about can Noah handle the pressure of being that lead dog at KBM, and I think at the beginning of the year it got to him. We watched him make a few mistakes trying to win races and putting himself in bad positions, but I think as we've gone into these playoffs, Rudy's gotten him straightened out and gotten him calmed down because he's been really good. He got 3 top 10s in this first round, got himself into the round of 6. We'll see how he does in this round of 6, but I think he's gotten a lot better.
I know he's gotten a lot better, but this time I think it's the pressure not to lose his cool, because he's got people like Matt Crafton right now basically breathing down his neck. He's right there on the edge of not making him moving forward. If he's not careful, he could get himself in trouble. And we're going to see how he deals with pressure these next 3 races.
Yep, and it only gets tougher as you get closer to that championship race. Now, at the start of this, the playoffs, we made some predictions for who would be advancing. Let's see how we did.
Not to.
No, well, I went back on that promise now, because if you take a look at what we did right now, we have 4 of our 6 drivers in the round of 6 and 3 of our championship 4 still left. Guys, that's not too bad. It's not too shabby.
You got to understand, it's an educated guess, right, Todd?
Yeah,
You never
educated.
know.
If we were educated, we would have been a little better, but, you know.
Well, the thing is right now, you know, you got to wait and see how this thing's going to play out, because there's been some surprises. Stuart Friesen not going in any further because, like we both thought, he would already won a race.
Yeah, and you know what? And Grant Enfinger is a good surprise, I think. You know, I knew he was good in his performance and very steady, but to win that race and win his way into this round, I think he's the guy we got to watch.
So what does this round hold for these drivers in terms of racetracks? Let's take a look at the 3 venues at which they will be racing. The short track at Martinsville, that's today. The high-banked oval at Texas, and the new configuration at ISM Raceway, where we have taken the front stretch and basically swapped it with the back stretch. Just flipped it.
But, you know, Martinsville, we know it's going to be a wild card. It's going to be unpredictable because of the lack of practice. But I'm kind of looking past that all the way to Texas and thinking about the big battle between Brett Moffitt and Johnny Sauter. Both these guys have dominated mile and a half. Johnny won there in the spring, so I'm going to wait and see how it kind of turns out there.
Yeah, and you know, at Phoenix, you know, it's the same configuration. The track is the same. There's nothing to, but they put the start-finish line on the back straightaway, and that's a big deal on the start of the race and the restarts. Going into that long flat corner, you know, we always wanted to go in there one truck at a time, single file. Now these restarts, they got to go double file.
And you can't practice that.
You can't practice that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens the first time they enter that corner.
Yeah, great variety of racetracks coming up with the short track all the way to Phoenix, and who knows what's going to happen in between. Now, when race day returns, there are some drivers who only have one thing on their mind today, a grandfather clock. We'll see who could be a playoff spoiler when we get back. And it's such a big race that we let Michael Waltrip out of the booth. He'll join us for the grid walk coming up next.
You're watching NASCAR Race Day, only on FS1.
Welcome back to Race Day, everybody. We are down to 6 drivers vying for the championship and down to a little more than 20 minutes before the green flag on the short track at Martinsville. With that in mind, let's take a look now at the starting grid and want to congratulate Todd Gilliland on his first career pole position.
How about Austin Hill? Him and Chad Kendrick have really got this race team turned around. Chad's built some new trucks, and he's given Austin what he needs to get the speed out of him, and it's showing in their performance.
And back on row 9, I want to keep my eye on Brett Moffitt as well as John Hunter Nemechek, who was the spring winner, watching these guys work their way to the front.
Going to be interesting to watch, but right now, Michael Waltrip is in the middle of it all down on pit road. It's time for a little grid walk. How's it going down there, Michael?
It's just a beautiful sight, John. The marching band's ready to go. The trucks are lined up. Gives you an idea of just how tight this pit road is. And we're going to see a lot of action on pit road and on the racetrack. And one of the guys that I think of when I say the word action is Stuart Friesen. Always on the gas, always fast. How you looking for today, buddy?
Oh, it's pretty good. There's some action going on right here with my son. He's getting pretty wild. He's ready for the band to start.
What do you think you're going to do about that?
I don't know. Mama's in charge right now.
Well, you have a fun race, all right, bud? Let's talk to Christian Eckes real fast. Hey, buddy, good qualifying run. You ready to go battle him in Martinsville?
I think so. I've never been here before, but I think we got a decent truck, so we'll work on it throughout the day and hopefully be contented at the end.
Never been here before, didn't get any practice. None of that matters, does it? It's Martinsville. You just got to battle when it comes time for the green flag. There's Austin Hill. He's had some good runs lately. Man, Austin's showing a lot of speed, buddy. Truck's fast. You got a good run for today. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, without practice, I'm excited about it. You know, can't thank Young's Motorsports enough. They've done a heck of a job.
I appreciate you. Hey, Kyle Benjamin, you were the story of the race here in the spring, man. That was awesome. You did everything. You got right on John Hunter Nemechek's tailgate, bounced him out of the way, couldn't quite get the victory. How do you feel about your chances today? Is the truck fast? And do you like not practicing, by the way?
We didn't have a whole lot of practice, but we had the same chassis, same truck, so, same pickup points. Everything should plug in, so I feel really good about our chances today, in the situation we're in.
Well, you got to battle some championship contenders. I know that's going to be very, very tight when you try to race around this track. Talking about a guy that was fast in the spring, got the pole, won the first stage, won the second, then trouble struck on pit road.
Michael, why you got to remind me about this? It happens. But, the good news today is we got a fast Carolina F-150, and it's just got to be attrition. We led all those laps, and we didn't bring home the grandfather clock. And today, we're okay. We're decent. I wouldn't say we're the fastest truck, but as long as we'll be there at the end, we'll make it happen.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch. And I'm telling you what, John, this pit road, there's a lot of energy and a lot of excitement. The marching band's ready to roll. The trucks are lined up. Just remember, when we talk about this race today, the strategies are going to be all over the board. So there's no way to predict when the leaders will come to pit road and how their plan will work out. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Mikey, thank you very much. Guys, potential spoilers?
I'm going to go with all the guys he just talked talked to. I think they all can win this race.
Timothy Peters, former winner.
Okay, you got your predictions there. Right now, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go trackside for the opening ceremonies from Martinsville. It's going to be some beating and banging because it's a short track, and it is playoff time for the trucks. Welcome back to Martinsville, everybody. The 63 truck is being driven today by Kevin Donahue. Owner Mike Mittler is currently battling cancer, so we're pulling for you, Mike.
Yeah, you know, when I started in Truck Series, Mike was one of the guys that was always friendly to me, always nice to me, great guy, done a lot for this series.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think I've ever been in a shop that a piece of his equipment's not been there as far as cutoff saws or tubing notchers.
So before we get underway today, let's head trackside for opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Magna Vista High School Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Motor Racing Outreach Chaplain Nick Terry offers our invocation.
Let's pray. Lord God, we enter into this moment of prayer, God, with praise and thanksgiving. Praise for who you are and thankfulness, God, for your love for us, for your mercy and your grace in our lives, and for the blessings that we have in our lives. God, our freedom, for the men and women who have and are defending it. God, for our first responders, and God, especially for a beautiful day for racing today. God, we pause to give you thanks. We ask your blessing and your favor, God, upon every driver in their team today as they compete. God, that you would surround them in all they do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the Martinsville High School Band.
Thanks for joining us here on NASCAR Race Day. Time to head out to Martinsville and Vince Welch.
Thank you, John. It is a picture-perfect day for racing. The playoffs continue, and no better place for it. This is Martinsville. And we open the round of 6 on the heels of Timothy Peters' victory at Talladega. It was expected to be his final race of the season, but the vet is back for another go-round here at Martinsville, where he scored his first career win. A year ago, Noah Gragson was celebrating here after claiming the first win of his career. Can he return to victory lane today? He's the only driver with top 10s at each of the short tracks this season. Matt Crafton can definitely find his way to victory at Martinsville. He's a 2-time winner at the Paperclip, and he needs another strong run today. He starts this round of the playoffs last of the 6 championship hopefuls. Johnny Sauter certainly knows the chime of the grandfather clock. He's won the prize trophy 3 times, and don't bet against him taking home another today. Sauter won the last time we were on a short track, and he'd be a smart pick this afternoon. 6 are still in the championship hunt. Here's Caitlin Vincey with more on the hottest driver of the bunch.
Yeah, Vincent, that would be Justin Haley. What a strong performance he put on in that first round of the playoffs. 3 top 5 finishes, including a victory. Talking with his crew chief, Kevin Bellacourt, he said, I feel like we made a big statement as a team, having those performances and moving on to the second round of the playoffs. But he said, Martinsville Speedway is our worst racetrack in this round. The good news is he felt good in that truck during qualifying. He will start 13th for today's race. Hermie Sadler.
Well, Caitlin, Matt Crafton is a 2-time series champion. Last race at Talladega, when this truck crashed, he felt like his championship hopes were over. But because he had attacked early and got stable, stage points, he advanced to the round of 6. Now he comes into Martinsville, 15 points outside the playoffs, outside looking in. The good news is he's a 2-time winner at this racetrack, but they know if he wants championship number 3, they need to attack today. They need to have a shot at victory. They need to make up points heading down the stretch, but they still feel like since they have won at 3 of the final 4 tracks on this schedule this year, that they still have a shot to win and make it to Homestead for championship number 3. Vince?
Yeah, nobody's going to count out Matt Crafton, that's for sure. Too good. He's done it too many times. Hey, great to have you with us for this playoff race, along with Phil Parsons. And speaking of champs, Kurt Busch, former Cup Series champ, former winner. You got one of those grandfather clocks, don't you? So it's an interesting time of the year, and especially for those of you like yourself still alive for a championship, the nerves that these guys are feeling each and every time they roll out.
It's that season. It's October, and with the first round behind everybody, now they can breathe a little bit. But I like the grouping of 6 that are left, and all of them have a great shot at it. Johnny Sauter, though, he's been the consistent guy all throughout the season. Gregson, he's on to Xfinity next year. He's got nothing to lose. Haley's performed well in his first round. Crafton, the veteran, he's still alive. I love this atmosphere. Here we are at a short track Truck Series action. Thanks for having me in the booth.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. And aside for the guys that are going for the championship, some other agendas out there that we're going to be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, we've got 6 guys that Kurt talked about with one agenda. That's maximize stage points and try to get the win if you can. But for the other guys in this field, it is about getting to victory lane. In addition to our regulars that are so competitive, look at all these guys here. These are all champions within the last year or so. We have a couple reigning champions. Sheldon Creed just clinched the ARCA championship last week at Kansas. He's in the number 2 truck for GMS. Tyler Ankrum just won the K&N East championship. He's driving for David Gill and Bola Mastis in the 54 truck. All champions on this list right here, in addition to a bunch of other guys that are potential winners here.
That is a huge stack of champions. That's what I love about the short track and the way that the owners want to get these drivers in the truck by year end and get them that feel of the Truck Series.
Well, Todd Gilliland won pole for this race today. He'll start on the point. We're going to handle things up here, but it's going to be an interesting perspective for you, Michael Waltrip, down on pit lane.
Yeah, Vince, I'm going to wander a little bit everywhere, but I want to talk about nerves. We know the pressure our championship contenders are under, but if these 2 18-year-olds that are starting on the front row show any nerves at all, I didn't see them. Todd Gilliland said, all I've got to do is go win this race. Harrison Burton, that's exactly his same agenda. They're going to fight hard for the victory. They're not worrying about stage points, obviously, and they're not worried either, guys, about the championship contenders. They say, we got this. We got to prove to our teams that we can get the job done behind the wheel on any type of racetrack. Harrison Burton just turned 18 years old, and he will be eligible to race at Texas, and he's going to finish the season in this 51 truck, looking to build the momentum so he can go championship racing in 2019. What an exciting time it is here down on pit road. Let's go trackside and get the command.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, representing Alpha Energy Solutions, Diamond Doug Burton.
Welcome to today's Texas 200, presented by Alpha Energy Solutions. I want to thank you fans for being here today. We want to thank our loyal customers and also associates. With your support, please help me in getting this race started by saying the most famous words in racing. Drivers, start your engines!
Fired up, fired up, we're ready. And fired up when you're ready.
Drivers buckled in, engines fired. The round of 6 about to get underway in Martinsville. How about that 88 of Matt Crafton?
What a great job Matt Crafton has done.
Justin Haley is a Truck Series winner. Justin Haley comes through to win the playoff opener.
Grant Enfinger will win and move to the round of 6 in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs. We'll see the checkered flag, and Noah Gregson wins.
Side by side at the line, it's Brett Moffitt. He's done it again.
Johnny Sauter will be regular season champion.
Now they're crashing. Johnny Sauter's in it.
Johnny Sauter's already clinched a spot to the round of 6. indeed, it can be a frightening experience racing at Martinsville. Your day can go bad in a hurry. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's the playoffs, the round of 6. This is the first of 3 races in this round. And it's Martinsville, a half-mile paperclip.
Let's take a look at our Camping World track description. We were at Talladega, our last race. Vince, it was 5 times bigger than this race. You can see just over a half-mile in length. The turns are banked 12 degrees, but they've always felt flat to me. You see the straightaways 1,800 feet apiece.
And the race analysis.
See, this race is 200 laps, just over 100 miles. You see our stage is really short, 50 laps in the final stage, 100. You see the pit window is somewhere between 130 and 140 laps. That means if these guys get to about lap 65, they would be in their window to make it the rest of the way.
And some of these teams are going to look at making a one-stop race today. Starting lineup there in the pylon to the left of your screen, and you see Kyle Busch Motorsports dominating at the front. The first 3 spots belonging to KBM, and Todd Gilliland, the pole winner for the first time in his young career. And the onboards today.
We're going to ride along with Stuart Friesen. Just missed making the round of 6 by 6 points. He's been so close to victory lane. This is the Chevrolet onboard camera. He will start from the 11th spot, and he's going to have that front bumper cam that Kurt, you said you give odds it won't make it.
I got $1 that says it doesn't make it. So for the rest of the day, we're going to be riding around with Matt Crafton with the helmet cam. Ford supplied that to the drivers, and I love this view. It puts you right in the seat, right in the action. And right now, Crafton's just warming up his tires, but we're going to see a lot of different things from this camera angle on braking, acceleration, and the way he fights the steering wheel through the center of the corner.
Let's get some final thoughts from downstairs trackside. We'll begin with Hermie Sadler.
Well, Vince, there's 32 trucks taking the green flag, but when it falls today, I'm going to be watching the number 16 of Brett Moffitt. He starts back in the 17th position. He's plus 13 when it comes to playoff points, but he knows he will have to attack early and often not to give up those points. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, I'm going to keep an eye on Grant Enfinger. Had a top 5 performance here at Martinsville earlier in the spring. Talking with his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, he told me they brought a very similar setup to what they ran in the spring with some subtle tweaks. Despite the fact they had no practice time due to rain, he said Grant was happy with this truck in qualifying. He will start 6th for today's race. Michael?
Caitlin, the key to winning at Martinsville is getting up off the corner. You've got to have good grip when you accelerate up off turns 2 and 4. That's the key. There's a transition from the concrete to the pavement. It makes the truck get loose. So when you're watching up in the booth, the guys that can move maybe up a half a groove in the middle of the turn and then shoot off the exit right about that STP sign, be dead at the bottom, that's the truck that's going to win this race today.
Good stuff, Mike.
That's a great angle from down there, and he's exactly right. You got to have that forward bite, and you got to protect it all day long. You could cook through your rear tires, and that's what we saw with the Cup car. Was a little bit more rear wear than normal. So we'll see how this plays out for these guys, but very short stages like you're talking about, Vince.
And we should point out that the trucks are on the same tire that you guys ran in the Cup.
Yeah, that's what I like about this point in the season. The trucks are on the same track and the same tire as us through the playoffs. So there's a lot of good information that we can gather up from these truck teams, and it gives these kids too, and the veterans that are out there with Sauter, Crafton, it gives them that read to watch the Cup guys. So it's a good exchange back and forth.
And these truck guys also had to rely on what you guys saw in practice forward, because they didn't have any practice yesterday.
It's pretty wild, yeah, no practice.
They just got the one to go, and here's a look at the other drivers that have won at the short tracks this season. This is the 5th and final race on the short track. John Hunter Nemechek winning here in March, and only one other driver has swept at Martinsville, so he'll try to do that in the truck.
I'm excited for this start. You got a couple KBM trucks on the front row, and it's the nerves and the feel of the playoffs. So those top 6 guys that are still running for the championship, they're hoping nobody misses a shift and everybody plays it cool here.
And our pole winner, Todd Gilliland, is going to take the outside. His teammate, the 51 of Harrison Burton, on the inside. More than likely will work together on the start, Kurt.
That's what the direction would be. The crew chiefs would talk, lead engineers. My little brother, the truck owner, probably jumps in there and says, listen, guys, let's work together. We're on the front row. Let's not take our chances away early. Let the truck come in from the outside, and then you got another KBM truck running in third. So that all should file in here at the beginning. But sometimes things get a little bit askew right away.
Trying to clean up some stuff on pit road. That's why we did not take the green there. They've actually given out 2 to go, so they've just taken the 2 to go, and it gives us an opportunity to look at our playoff drivers and how they have fared at Martinsville. And, of course, Gregson got that win here in this race last year, his first career win. Johnny Sauter tied for the most wins in a truck here at Martinsville with 3. He, along with Kevin Harvick and Dennis Setzer, Mike Skinner, they've all won 3 times here.
You know, last year this race, actually the spring race last year is when we first noticed Noah Gragson. Had trouble the first couple 3 races of the year, came here, had a solid top 5 finish, then went on to win the fall race with Noah Gragson, put his name on a contender here 1 year ago in March.
They are now getting ready to take the 1 to go. Gives us a chance to listen in on the radio of Matt Crafton.
The break at lap 50, let's be heads up, okay? We might have to call an audible. If it goes straight to 50, and a few of those guys that are ahead of us, if they are, we'll come. If they stay, we'll stay.
Crew Chief Carl Joyner, Junior Joyner, and the spotter Stevie Reeves will help out Matt Crafton today.
I just saw him hit all his switches. He turned on all of his brake fans up front, rear end fan, rear brake fan. You try to use the pace laps to warm everything up. So that was a nice little flip of the switch from the helmet cam. We're about ready to roll, boys. This is looking good.
Junior Joyner talking about maybe be able to change their strategy. We haven't even started the race yet, and they're talking about changing their strategy.
That's what you can do. You can throw it right at the veteran and go, okay, no problem.
You better keep it fluid today, depending on where the yellows fall, how this one's going to turn out. A couple of Kyle Busch Motorsports teenagers on the front row. Todd Gilliland, the pole winner in the 4 truck, starting on the outside with Harrison Burton inside, and we're racing at Martinsville.
He gave him plenty of room there, didn't he?
He did.
You got to like when team orders play out, but here they go now. It's going to be tough. Tires are still very cold in the way that the trucks don't turn very well, but most everybody's going to be fighting for the bottom here early.
Yeah, low air pressure, too, as they start the race here with these tires.
That's Ben Rhodes in the 41 on the outside, trying to get the better of Harrison Burton. Not going to happen, though, as Burton recovers, and they're side-by-side into 1 for second. Remember, Rhodes had a terrific run here in the spring. Won the pole, won stage 1, won stage 2, led 134 laps, but had a problem on a late pit stop, and that ended up costing them track position and eventually the race as Burton secures second.
Yeah, it looked like Rhodes just wanted to kind of go, all right, Burton, go on ahead. I'll fall in line behind you, and then we'll start to get a feel for the chassis that's underneath. Because these guys didn't have much practice, none at all. You just chose to use it in qualifying, and now they're getting their first big time of the heat soak into the tires and into the rotors.
I think Grant Enfinger wanted to get that spot and did get that spot in front of Noah Gragson. Little give and take early on here in this race.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. You know, some of the times you get in there and you got a bunch of young kids, they're going hard, but the way the trucks are driving with these tires, they're definitely going to get a lot of laps out of them, and we'll see how it plays out once we do get closer to that first break.
Love this view from Stuart Friesen's bumper. Friesen back in the 13th spot. That's the 46 truck just ahead of him of Christian Eckes. Another one of those KBM trucks, and Eckes has had a pretty good year. He's come up through the ranks and has shown himself well in the truck, but he's coming, that's for sure.
Yeah, great season in the ARCA Racing Series. Wasn't old enough to run all the races, but still has 3 wins this year in the ARCA Racing Series.
There's the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. Normally Nemechek runs a black scheme, but with Ollie's on board for this one, it's in that bright yellow. And we mentioned Nemechek, the winner here in March. He's already picked up a few spots here in the initial laps, just underway at Martinsville. Justin Haley in that 24 truck opened up the playoffs with the win at Canada, but he's the first to admit this isn't his best track.
I think if he could just survive, maybe get a handful of playoff points, as we watched Johnny Sauter trying to grab the 6th spot away from the 17 of Kyle Benjamin.
Benjamin ran second here in the spring.
What you're going to start to see transitioning now are guys that ended up with a little bit better Q run, and then now they're starting to fade back a little bit because maybe they're not loose enough and they're picking up a tighter condition. And some guys that didn't qualify good, they might have been sliding around too loose, setting up more for the race trim run.
And you were telling me that your Cup car got a little bit tighter and tighter as the racetrack temperature came up.
As each set of tires that we went through, track got tighter, and each of the sessions that we go through, the track was warmer because of the daytime temps.
Todd Gilliland out front. He's led them all so far, Hermie.
Vince, I got a chance to speak with Todd this morning. He knows what a great opportunity that he has driving this 4. for Kyle Busch Motorsports. But he told me, you know what? We just need an uneventful race. We got fast trucks. I know I can do the job. We just got to stay out of trouble. His last 2 finishes, both outside the top 20. But now that he's out front dominating, maybe his goals for today might change, but he is looking good right now.
Looking good indeed. He's been out front for all 11 laps so far. Todd Gilliland leading the way at Martinsville. The first race in the round of 6 for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We're at Martinsville, where the 4 truck of Todd Gilliland has led all 18 laps so far. Not getting much pressure with a lead of a little more than a second and a half over his teammate Harrison Burton. Grant Enfinger, who won earlier in the playoffs, victorious at Las Vegas. Caitlin, he's running 4th.
Yeah, Vince, and I talked to him about that run at Las Vegas earlier. He said he felt like over the last couple of weeks this team has finally been able to show consistent speed. But he told me when he looked at Martinsville this weekend, he really considers this a wild card race in this round. He said, I cannot afford to be conservative at this race here today. So, Kurt, what is that like, balancing the aggression and also patience at a racetrack like Martinsville?
Well, what he's referring to is the wild card feel is when you don't know when somebody's going to check up on a restart, and then you get put into a vulnerable position and somebody hits you from behind. But you have to be aggressive, like he's saying, and right now he's running 4th, and if the stage were to end right now, he's going to cash in on good stage 1 points. So we'll see if he starts to put some pressure on Rhodes to try to grab another spot.
And Enfinger came into the playoff mix of 4th in the standings. A little bit of a cushion, but that cushion can go away in a hurry here in the traffic of Martinsville. There's the 75 of Parker Kligerman, and right behind him the 16 of Brett Moffitt. Moffitt started 17th, has gained just 1 position, hasn't been moving up quite as quickly as maybe we thought he should.
Yeah, they had a conversation before the race, and they said, remember, Brett, a lot of these guys right around you, you've never raced around before, so let's be a little tentative here to start with, but I think he would love to get up there and jump up in the top 10. He needs to get some playoff points, but these stages go by so fast.
Yeah, Phil, he was a little bit tight in the second round of qualifying. I just hopped up on the pit box and asked his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, I said, is the truck too tight? He said, no, we're just stuck, meaning stuck in traffic. And you guys can add to this. If you don't get some cooperation from the guy you're trying to pass, you've got to be sometimes a half a second faster than the driver in front of you to make a clean pass. So right now, the truck's not perfect, but more than anything, he is stuck in traffic.
Yeah, with the way that sometimes Martinsville will do this to you, right, Phil, where you're just glued to the spot that you're running. You can't run any faster with your lap time, and you're like 17th, wearing yourself out, not picking up any spots. I've had that happen to Martinsville a ton.
Running the same speed as the guy running 4th.
Yeah, and
it's just
why
lap
can't
after
I
lap.
gain? What happened? Why did we miss the setup? So we'll see what they adjust on that truck. Zipadelli's smart. Moffitt's a good kid. They should be able to figure something out on what is causing them to be glued in that spot. But wow, look at this already in lap traffic. We're halfway through stage 1. And it looks like Gilliland's just starting to click it off here.
That's DJ Kennington in the 49 that Gilliland's putting a lap down. Austin Self just ahead of him in the 22.
We'll check what lead he has. He has 2 seconds of a lead getting into traffic, and we'll watch that as we go through the next 5-10 laps and see if other trucks behind him are able to navigate the traffic a little better.
Johnny Sauter, Noah Gregson, Grant Enfinger. You've got 3 playoff trucks right in a row behind that green 41 of Ben Rhodes. You maybe be a little more patient at this stage in the race, but the later that race goes, the shorter that that patience becomes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think these guys are really working together well. As you mentioned, 3 playoff contenders, actually 4 counting Matt Crafton, but I think they're really playing nice, but we're only just outside of 20 laps to go in this stage.
I think as drivers, you're mentally looking at a 50-lap stage run, and now we're halfway through. Now you're starting to push the pedal a little bit quicker. You're starting on the brakes a little bit harder, and you're starting to count these spots that are just right in front of you.
Like right there.
Yep. He's going to start moving in on it, trying to go for it, but we'll see.
Guys, the best sound a crew chief likes to hear from his driver is nothing. And that's exactly what Joe Shear Jr. is getting from Johnny Sauter. Said he hasn't said a word, but he knew that Johnny would be patient early, and he's right on the back bumper of the top 5. So things are going well for this team.
Well, and it seems like maybe that patience starting to wear a little bit with Sauter and Noah Gregson, because he knows he's faster than Gregson, starting to wear out that bumper a little bit.
He starts wearing out that right rear bumper. That can get you a little bit loose. And now he's going to try to cut underneath him.
Well, what a nice move there, wasn't it, Kurt?
Oh, wow. He's got a good truck. He was able to run high on entry and then cut low on exit. And now try to run through the center of the corner and just kind of move up Gregson out of the way.
A couple of championship contenders there, door to door. Johnny Sauter and Noah Gregson. And Matt Crafton has come right up into the picture as well. So Sauter in 5th, Gregson 6th, Crafton right there. We got 4 championship contenders in the top 7.
I was talking to Johnny right after qualifying. He said his truck was not that good in qualifying. He said he was a little bit free in the corner and then had a little bit of trouble turning the center. I said, do you think that'll get better in race pace? He said, probably so, but he said, we'll just work on it all day. Well, they can work on it as much as one pit stop will do. That's how much time they're going to have to work on these trucks probably.
Positive attitude there.
Ben Rhodes trying to move, and there's Sauter.
Sauter's not giving an inch here. He is wanting to collect these stage points.
Johnny Sauter with another nice move, so he's gotten past Gregson and now puts Grant Enfinger on the outside. Gregson's going to come with him.
Yeah, obviously Johnny came into this race in the best position, plus 28 over the cut line. If he can get some great stage points in this early stage, he's going to be looking pretty good.
What a tight move. Crafton was hoping that Effinger would leave the door open. He got in there, and that was going to help with corner exit, but I didn't think there would be enough room for Crafton and that curb to not stay off the 98 truck, so that was a good move.
Enfinger's lost a few spots in the last few laps as Johnny Sauter continues to make his way toward the front, getting past Ben Rhodes now for 3rd.
He is just bulldozing.
Up front, it's been Todd Gilliland. He's led them all, but it is tight quarter racing at Martinsville.
Welcome back to Martinsville. That's the Ford driven by Todd Gilliland. He is on pit road. Remember, this truck is not in playoff contention. They hope to gain track position back at the end of the next stage. His truck was tight. They put 4 tires on it. Tight also for the 51 of Harrison Burton. 4 tires as well. The 16 of Brett Moffitt. He is also on pit road. His truck was too tight rolling the center. He was stuck back in traffic. 4 tires and air pressure for Brett Moffitt.
So what's it tell you about the different strategies that we saw play out right there? Hermie mentioned the Ford 51, not in championship contention, but the 16 of Moffitt is.
And Kurt and I talked about it when the caution came out. We're away a commercial break. Those guys were outside the top 10. Brett Moffitt, Justin Haley outside the top 10. Didn't look like they were going to get any stage points. Why not come in, work on the truck a little bit, and trying to be in good position when they get to the end of the second stage?
And here's why we are under caution. The 33 of Chad Finley. Over in turn 3.
All by himself. Sometimes you get that axle hop going on. I didn't quite see that, but definitely easy to be loose on entry if you jump on the brakes too hard and the truck will snap around on you.
Finley just got married last week, and here they are in Martinsville. Kind of a brief stopover before the honeymoon, so unfortunately didn't work out as well as he had hoped today. How about the 24, Caitlin?
Well, Vince, he was another one of the playoff contenders who elected to come down pit road. Just checking in with crew chief Kevin Bellacourt, saying the truck a little bit tight before that last pit stop. They went ahead and did a right side tires only on that stop, guys.
Yeah, we could have predicted 11th or so on back, but what I saw very interesting there was the 2 KBM trucks that were leading. First and second, they pitted. They're not running for the points. They're more trying to position themselves for stage 2 and to see how that plays out, or even towards the end of the race. But that was a gift. Look at that. Sauter now will be the leader. Gregson second. And a bunch of the guys, of course, that are in the championship hunt, we're going to stay out there to grab these stage points.
Yeah, so with the top 2 trucks going to pit road for stops, being Gilliland and Harrison Burton, that's going to put Johnny Sauter at the front along with Noah Gregson, and gives them an opportunity not only to pick up a couple of extra playoff points or stage points, but maybe a stage win as well.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting now with those 2 top trucks from KBM, Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland, back there, see how well they can get through traffic on fresh tires. That'll give them an idea what's going to happen late in the race, Hermie.
The 21 of Sauter took the outside because they plan to work on this restart with the 18, but Johnny Sauter a little bit tentative about it, working with the 18. We'll see how this plays out.
Going to be less than 10 to go here in stage 1 when they take the green. Sauter on the outside, Noah Gregson on the inside, a couple of championship contenders, and the green in the air and waving. Going to be a sprint to the end of the first stage. Sauter out front. Matt Crafton charging hard on the outside.
It worked just like it was supposed to for the front two.
Yeah, and then when you get second and third side by side, Sauter's digging that. He's hoping that those two get hung up, but looks like Gregson clears him. Kraft hasn't fallen to third. Now he's got to hold off Rhodes from back in fourth. So far, it's been somewhat cordial. What do you think, Phil?
I don't know. I'm surprised.
Me too.
There's the 54 you saw on the outside there, Tyler Ankrum. 4 K&N wins this year. The K&N East champ in that 54 truck, making his Truck Series debut here today. Having a good run so far inside the top 10.
Watching the KBM trucks, that's Harrison Burton, the 51. And heavy traffic, that's Dawson Cram, the 83, to his outside.
And with just 5 to go here in this first stage, every position, especially for those championship contenders, every single spot matters. You don't want to get past and give up a spot, or if you got an opportunity to get one, you're going to take it.
One thing that's tough that doesn't stand out to a non-racer, when you're waiting for your tires to heat up because they're fresh and they have stickers on them, you got to wait those couple laps. But as a driver, you're like, I have stickers on. I'm supposed to be able to just pass these guys. It's a tough balance to find when you have the fresh tires against somebody that's got the older tires.
Justin Haley looking inside as he's right there behind the 51 of Harrison Burton.
See, that moves him up to the 11th spot. He's only 1 spot out of point-paying position in the stage here, but with only 3 to go.
Try to get past that 83 of Dawson Cram.
What this is showing me up front, all those guys that are running for the championship, trying to collect these stage points, they've got their thinking caps on. Everybody's trying to gather up those points, bank them now, and then worry about things later on as far as going for the race win.
Sauter with about a half a second lead over Noah Gregson as they have 1 lap remaining here in this first stage. Sauter's got 5 race wins this season, but only 3 stage wins. Looking for an additional playoff point with this one as Noah Gregson chases Johnny Sauter in through 3 and 4. And here comes Sauter. He's going to win stage 1.
Stage in. Hey guys, we're going to stay out here.
You heard it from Joe Shear right there. 21 of Johnny Sauter going to stay out.
Yeah, I feel like with the quantity of laps on their tires and position that they're in, they're definitely looking to hold on to that stage and get stage 2 on this same set of tires.
Johnny Sauter off to a good start. Stage 1 winner at Martinsville. Back here at Martinsville at the end of stage 1, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, the opening race in the round of 6. The leader, Johnny Sauter, staying out, but Ben Rhodes is coming for a stop, Hermie.
Yeah, Vince, the 41 coming down pit road. His truck has been too tight through the center of the corner. The longer they run, the worse it gets. That's certainly not uncommon here at Martinsville. So they want to come in, try to take advantage of this caution. They'll put 4 tires on this truck, you see the adjustment right there, a track bar adjustment on the right side to try to get this truck to roll better through the center of the corner.
Rhodes had a great run here last year. Great truck in the spring, I should say. Led 134 laps. He's coming to get some early service. But the leader, Johnny Sauter, who won stage 1, stayed out. Let's chat with our stage 1 winner, shall we?
Hey, Johnny Sauter, this is Phil, Kurt, and Vince up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Good, man. Looks like it's going pretty good for you. Looks like we got about halfway through that first stage, and you said it's time to go, and away you went up towards the front.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, our SM Connect Chevy has good speed, sustaining speed. So hopefully that remains true for this next stage here, and we can keep it up front, and then obviously come and get the tires. But Joe and the guys, everybody at GMS doing a good job, and we got a long way to go. So keep working it. It feels like we're on ice out here today, so I hope everybody's feeling the same way.
All right, great job, buddy. Keep it up.
10-4, thank you.
Feeling like you're on ice. Got to be a disconcerting feeling, right?
And he's the leader.
Yeah. Johnny Sauter collects 10 points for that Stage 1 win.
Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. Guys, since the inaugural season of the Camping World Truck Series, Miller Brothers Racing has been here. They've given 49 drivers a chance to start their career in NASCAR, including Brad Keselowski and Carl Edwards. It's just been amazing what this team has done. But at home in Missouri, team owner Mike Nittler is battling cancer. Everyone in this garage area, the whole NASCAR community wants to stand up on lap 63 and tell Mike we're standing for him.
Thinking about you, Mike.
His driver, Kyle Donahue, doing a pretty nice job here, still on the lead lap.
Stage 2 at Martinsville underway with Johnny Sauter at the point. Noah Gregson inside.
He's working with him a little bit there.
About halfway.
Yeah, that's like, all right, that's the last time I'm really going to work with you there. We'll have to see how this plays out for Crafton and Enfinger back there. Third and fourth, side by side. Crafton's not afraid. Just putting it right in there in turn 4.
Yeah, teammates at Thorsport. The 88 of Crafton, the 98 of Enfinger. Ooh, problems for the 52. Looks like it's a flat left front tire. Left rear tire looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed, it's the left rear. He was running 11th. Caution is out. Caution out for the second time today because of an incident. Chad Finley involved in a single truck incident earlier.
He's not going to get it refired in time. He's going to go a lap down. He did a really good job to keep it off the wall and not have damage, and then the yellow came out, but man, he's going to lose a lap here.
Of course, Stuart
trying to restart it.
So listen.
3 wide top, 3 wide top, 2 wide top, 2 wide top.
From that angle, it's tough to tell. Maybe somebody got into his left rear.
It's possible, but we know it's flat now. Got down to it, had no air in it when he got down to turn 1.
He's got it turned around though. Finally, lost a lap, and we'll see what he can do to dig back out of this hole.
Friesen just missed advancing to this round of 6 in the playoff structure. Missed by 6 points. Here's a little bit of contact, maybe the 30 of Burton.
That definitely roughed up his left rear. Now he's 3 wide. So it might have started way back in turn 2.
Yeah, undoubtedly that caused a slow leak. Yep. It's already flat right there. You can see it already flat.
Yeah, I think it was that contact.
Those are those moments when you're a playoff driver that you call Martinsville a wild card. It's exactly just that. He was kind of minding his own business, slips up just a little bit, somebody gets in your left rear, now you got a flat.
Unfortunate for Friesen, a 3-time runner-up this season, still looking for his first Truck Series win.
Welcome back to Truck Series action from Martinsville Speedway. Taking a look at Grant Enfinger in the 98 truck, just listening to the communication with his team over the radio, saying less overall grip on exit. As crew chief said, you really helped yourself being patient on the throttle on 3 and 4. We'll ride the stage out and hopefully sit pretty at the end. Vince?
Well, and on this restart, 33 to go with Johnny Sauter out front.
Closes the door down into turn 1.
Enfinger, that third truck in line on the inside with Noah Gregson squeezed in between, and now Crafton takes the spot from his teammate Enfinger.
Getting a little bit dicier now on this restart. And what's happened here already, this is halfway through stage 2 almost, and we've only got 2 green flag laps. This is definitely where business is picking up for guys that want to gain their track position back.
See, the 24 of Haley gets inside of Harrison Burton, make a little contact, slides him up the racetrack. Going to try to make the pass on the inside.
Yeah, we got to be careful with that contact. We just saw that with Stuart Friesen, a little contact to the left rear, cut his tire. Got to be careful if you're one of those championship contenders. You don't want to see your hopes go down with that type of an incident. Side by side, Sheldon Creed and Jeb Burton. Creed's going to get that spot in the 2 truck, the ARCA Series champ here in 2018.
You can block all you want, but you're going to have a hard time holding your truck down going into turn 3 when somebody's right there on you.
Especially when they're pushing you into the corner.
The way Moffitt was there pushing Burton.
You know, you can get away with it a couple times, but you know, eventually you're going to get moved out of the way if you try to block too much too often. It just looks like Burton is in a tough spot. He's just kind of pinned on the high side.
And watch the 16 of Moffitt there, and he currently is in the 12th spot, but like a pinball bouncing off.
That's a playoff contender with people hitting him on the left and the right.
And he's like, hey, everybody, chill out, man. I'm running for points.
There's a lot of paint being rubbed right now, and Jeb Burton has been in the midst of quite a bit of it. That's Myatt Snyder in the 13. He's got a couple of wrinkles in his fender as well. And here's Ben Rhodes in the 41 inside with the 99 of Chase Purdy coming. Another driver making his debut in that black 99.
Finally, Burton's able to find the bottom and get back in line. He just got moved up, and then it's a freight train of trucks. They're just going to keep coming, and it's so hard to get back down to the bottom groove.
Solid days so far for these playoff contenders. Matt Crafton, the 88, teammate Grant Enfinger, the 98, continuing to run third and fourth.
Yeah, the top four are playoff contenders, and there's the 23 of Timothy Peters. Won last race at Talladega, scored his first career win in the Truck Series here back in 2009, and it'll take him long to get up in the mix. He's currently sitting sixth.
How about that Ford truck, Vince? Right in front of him, Todd Gilliland, pitted back on lap number 39, has already made his way back up into the top 5, and he knows everybody in front of him will have to come to pit road here, more than likely at the end of the stage.
Yeah, Gilliland led the first 39 laps from the pole, and as Phil mentioned, gave up that lead when he took an early pit stop. Others elected to stay out, but Gilliland has made his way back up through.
I like what's brewing up here. We've got Gregson, Crafton, Enfinger all on older tires running for points, and you've got Todd Gilliland looking to charge through and gain, spots back up onto Sauter. So it'll be interesting to see what happens these next 25 laps. And those Thor Sport Fords definitely are playing it cool, working it together right now. I don't know if we'll see that later on in stage 3.
And I don't think Todd Gilliland cares if those guys in front of him get stage points or not. I think if he can make the move by them guys, he will.
He did say, though, he wants just a nice, smooth day, not have anything wrinkled up and not have any big blemishes, so to speak. But he's running smart, he's running smooth, and the guys at KBM will keep him dialed in.
Yeah, Gilliland has taken DNFs because of accidents the last 2 races, Las Vegas and Talladega. They got to believe if they can just be there at the end, run all the laps, they're going to have a shot at winning this race, and it would be the first career win for Gilliland. And right now, there you see him third in line behind Matt Crafton and Grant Enfinger. Crafton running third, Enfinger fourth, Gilliland fifth, and that's Timothy Peters in the white 23 just behind them.
You can see Enfinger looking to try to make a move, and why he's so aggressive right now, even though it's his teammate. If you look ahead of Crafton, there's a ton of track ahead of Crafton, and that's where he's wanting to go. He's like, I know I'm faster than you, we're teammates, but hey, buddy, look ahead down the track. I should be in that spot, and that's why you need to let me go real quick.
He's being very teammate-ish right now by not really using that front bumper on Matt Crafton.
And, if I'm in the 88 truck, I'm looking in the mirror, trying to see who's behind the 98 to see if he's got a lot of pressure, because I want to fall back in line as quick as I can and not get hung out on the outside like what happened to Burton earlier.
Well, that's a pack of 5 right there that could win this race. Crafton and Enfinger. But the guy up front is the one they're all chasing in that 21 truck. Johnny Sauter, the stage 1 winner here at Martinsville.
In the NASCAR playoffs, the energy transforms everything.
The pack is flying apart.
An infield becomes the place to be. A spectator becomes a fan. An experience becomes unforgettable.
He lit the track on fire.
And a driver becomes a champion.
Quite the party in victory lane.
Be there as these drivers lay it all on the line.
Threading the needle.
Get your tickets to the NASCAR playoffs by visiting NASCAR.com/tickets.
Tag.
You're it.
Toyota, let's go places.
In the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs, we know what it takes to win the championship. This. This.
Go.
And a whole lot of.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Because to be champion,
Sauter and Moffitt side by side.
you've got to lay it all on the line.
Tomorrow, it's America's Game of the Week. Lock in, man. It's outdoor. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers venture into hostile territory as they battle Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, and the undefeated Rams. Let's go! Can Green Bay spoil their perfect season? Touchdown! Or will they be sent packing? What a run! America's Game of the Week. It all starts with Fox NFL Kickoff on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Back here at Martinsville with 13 to go here in stage 2. Justin Haley in that 24 truck running 8th. Good battle here between John Hunter Nemechek and the yellow number 8 and the 4 of Todd Gilliland. Well, there have been battles all over the track as we get in these late laps here in stage 2. Just ahead of them, Matt Crafton and Grant Infinger running 3rd and 4th.
John Hunter, our winner in the spring race here in Martinsville, the 250 lapper. We know he has a good combination for this race. Ollie's on board for this one. Great battle here side by side with Gilliland.
He's picked up the most spots since the start of the race, and when you're a spring winner and you don't have much practice, what are you going to do? You're pretty much going to go with that setup that you ran in the spring. And so it's looking like it's playing dividends here on the long run, and that's where he's able to make up some time.
Like Infinger gave his teammate Matt Crafton a bump.
Look at this. This is getting busy.
And Gilliland right through the middle. Infinger couldn't make the corner, and Gilliland took it on the outside.
Crafton's giving the outside to guys. He knows he's a little bit slower right now, and he's giving the outside up. And maybe Infinger didn't know about that. Hunter Nemechek's coming through there. Look at this. Gilliland's going to come out the winner on this.
And Infinger loses 3 spots in that transaction.
Definitely playing the move right here. When you're Crafton, you know your truck's not quite perfect. He's hugging the bottom, giving the outside away. He's trying to collect the most points that he possibly can and not give up a huge amount of spots.
Kurt, you nailed it. I talked to crew chief Jerry Kennan on that 8 truck of John Hunter Nemechek. He said, we got a great setup. We know we do. We won in the spring with it. John Hunter just overdrove the truck in qualifying. How many times has the crew chief blamed what happened on you, Kurt?
Absolutely. Setup styled in, buddy. Why'd you overdrive it? So now he's having to dig his way out of the hole, and he's doing it, man. He is definitely on the move, picked up the most starts, most position since the start.
Remember, he's one of the guys that pitted back on lap number 39 along with that 4 of Todd Gilliland.
Mike Skinner, the only other driver to sweep the 2 races at Martinsville in the truck. John Hunter Nemechek trying to do that. Skinner did it back in 2007. John Hunter has got some work to do back there in that 4th spot and a long way to go. 6 laps left here in stage 2.
All 6 of our playoff contenders now, guys, have made it up into the top 10. Moffitt got by Sheldon Creed to take over that 10th spot a few laps ago.
Again, side by side with Gilliland and Nemechek. These two are going to be tired of seeing one another before it's all said and done.
How about that big Xfinity win for John Hunter Nemechek at Kansas?
Anytime you win, when you're in a bigger series, sorry, Phil, to jump on you there, when you're above and next up level and you win, you come back a series. It's back here in the trucks. You just have more confidence. Things start to slow down, and you have a better flow and a feel, and you communicate better with your crew chief because you have more confidence from what happened up in the series above you.
And the points as they run, you see there on the left-hand side, if you've got one of those yellow widgets next to your name, well, you are in business. You would be in on points, but if it's red like Crafton and Haley have, right now you're on the outside looking in. But remember, a lot of racing to go. This is just the first of 3 races in this round. Texas next week, and then Phoenix. ISM Raceway to determine who are going to be the 4 championship contenders at Miami Homestead. Sauter putting Austin Hill a lap down.
That's a bit of a surprise. Austin had a great qualifying session, qualified up in the top 10, but now going down a lap to Johnny Sauter. If he can stay in position there at the end of the stage, he will get the free pass.
Just a couple to go here in this second stage. How difficult is it to navigate this lap traffic when you're the guy up front?
Nobody wants to move over, especially being this close to the end of the stage. And you're hoping that if you are that lap truck, that you can hang on to the lucky dog spot. But yeah, as a leader, you know guys are going to be tough, and you're watching in the mirror. You're watching Gregson get closer and closer to you, and then that will help gauge how aggressive you want to make a move on the next lap truck in front of you.
Johnny Sauter into 3. That's Jordan Anderson just ahead of him in through 4. And Johnny Sauter is going to win stage 2. So Sauter takes them both to get this one started.
Johnny was literally into number 3, Jordan Anderson, when they got down at turn number 3. Jordan did a nice job staying on the lead lap, though.
Loose off.
You heard Sauter telling crew chief Joe Shear, loose off, and they battled loose here in the spring as well. Hope that they would have that taken care of with some setup changes, but Johnny's still fighting it a bit. Strong just the same. The stage 1 and stage 2 winner, Johnny Sauter. Johnny Sauter has won stage 1 and stage 2. He's also led the most laps. Remember, Ben Rhodes did that last year. Won stage 1 and stage 2, led the most laps, or in the spring, and he finished 12th, I believe, in that race. So Johnny hopes for something better. Just because you won stage 1 and 2 doesn't mean you're going to win the race.
It looks like everybody's going to be pitting now.
Long line led by the leaders: Sauter, Gregson, Nemechek, Gilliland, the 88 of Crafton, the 98 of Infinger coming as well. Caitlin.
Yeah, Vince, Grant Enfinger at the top of your screen. As crew chief said, take a deep breath, reset. We were able to get points in both stages. Grant saying just a little snug in the center. You see a chassis adjustment there for tires. Hermie.
Hey, Kurt, Phil, see if you've heard this one. Johnny Sauter says, I'm loose in, tight to center, loose off. They'll work to try to fix the 21. The 18 needs to roll the center as well. That'll be 4 tires and fuel, air pressure for the 18. Matt Crafton needs more lateral grip. 4 tires, fuel, and a track bar adjustment for Matt Crafton.
See the times on those stops. Like they made an adjustment maybe in that left rear of Gregson, or had some problems with the left rear, one of the two. An extra 4 seconds during that stop for Noah.
A couple guys took 2 tires trying to gamble and gain some spots. Sauter comes off pit road in first, so I'd like to go to John Hunter Nemechek. You got us this Fox Sports up in the booth.
Yes, sir, I got you.
Hey, buddy, you've been doing really good. I noticed you picked up the most spots since the start of the race. And here's the thing, right? You're running the setup you won the race with here in the spring. How do you think it's going to play out in these final 100 laps?
I hope it plays out well. We made another small adjustment there to try and make this Ollie's bargain.
Who's going
Outlet Chevrolet Silverado a little bit better. Hopefully we made the right adjustments here for the long run, and hoping this thing goes green. That's where we shine.
10-4, good buddy. Well, best of luck with it, and hopefully everything plays out for you in the long run.
Thanks, appreciate it, guys.
John Hunter Nemechek, winner here in the spring. Gonna have a little work to do, but plenty of time to do it. The final stage when we come back to Martinsville.
Welcome back to a beautiful fall day at the Pay-Per-Click, and I've brought it to the people. And who do I find when I get up to the people? What does a NASCAR driver do on an off weekend? Comes to a NASCAR race, of course. Cole Custer, how are you enjoying this view?
It's awesome. You know, Martinsville's definitely been a place I've missed ever since I started running Xfinity, and to come back on the off weekend and watch the race with some fans, and it's just a really cool deal.
We're getting ready to go back green. I wonder, how did I get one of those cool Cole Custer t-shirts?
I'll have one specially made for you, Mikey, when I get back. That's for sure.
We're coming green, guys.
Good to see Cole in the grandstands enjoying this one. It'll be 90 to go. Kyle Benjamin and Johnny Sauter on the front row to restart. Benjamin leads him into turn 1. Sauter right on his side.
Benjamin's on a little bit older tires, different sequence, and he's got his he's gonna have his work cut out for him. But look at that!
Some contact, and Sauter got moved out.
Come on, you got it.
What a great save by Johnny Sauter.
I think Johnny thought he had him cleared, and Benjamin got into that left rear just a little bit. Sauter still trying to get the job done. Can't quite yet.
Johnny was hoping he would get a little bit of a break from Benjamin. He's got it now.
Sauter back to the lead. Myatt Snyder and John Hunter Nemechek 13 and 8. Running side by side for 3rd and 4th.
Remember, 2 tires for the 13. Watch this replay. Johnny said, I'm pretty much clear. Aren't I? No, maybe not.
Benjamin threw it down in there deep. I just thought he got a tough spin, a tire spin off turn 2, but he threw it down into 3 pretty hard.
Great recovery by Sauter. Saved it, recovered, and regained the lead.
Look at these guys. They're beating and banging. Everybody's on different strategies, trying to find a hole, trying to get by the next guy and get back into clear track.
Looked like John Hunter Nemechek got into the 13 of Myatt Snyder. I believe he's got a left front tire rub on that Ollie's truck. You can see the damage on that left front fender on the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, that's definitely a rub that could get serious. Hopefully it doesn't for him. That's definitely a
rub smoke as he gets on the brakes and that front end.
There's that contact right there with the 13 of Snyder.
Man, was he thinking he wanted to try to get underneath him, or is he just getting aggressive? No, sometimes you just got to let it roll off your shoulder and get back in the groove. Man, these guys are running hard. Definitely rubbing for Hunter Nemechek. Rhodes looking underneath Gilliland and trying to get that spot away from him.
And there's Haley, the 24. Admittedly, this is not one of his better tracks, favorite tracks. Up there in the 7th spot, looking good right now.
Yeah, he is. He's running P7. That's perfect right now, just trying to gain some points.
Rhodes and Gilliland side by side for 5th. You still see the smoke coming from that left front of Nemechek.
Man, I don't like that at all. It's definitely rubbing way too much on corner entry.
But he knows that if he comes to pit road, his race is over. He may be trying to make it to a caution flag, but the problem is if he makes it to a caution flag,
he might be the caution.
It comes to pit road, his race is still over. There's no way that he'll be able to overcome the track position.
It's definitely a tough situation. It's going to be a lose-lose for him here. We'll have to see how it plays out.
You know, Haley's sitting in that 7th spot in that 24 field, knowing that this is not a track he has a lot of confidence. They've got to be pretty pleased with where he's running right now.
I think so, without a doubt. Here's Brett Moffitt, a guy that's made steady progress from the start of the day. Up there racing with the 18 of Noah Gregson.
Everybody's kind of looking up ahead just to check that tire rub, just to see when things might happen.
Oh, Rhodes inside with a little contact, moving Nemechek out of the way. Rhodes is going to get that spot, and Haley and Gilliland coming along. Brett Moffitt sticking his nose in there.
Loving this 3 wide into turn 3 at Martinsville. These guys are getting after it.
Remember all that calm racing we saw on stage 1?
Not so much anymore. Definitely can see how the strategies are going to play out as this race unfolds, but these guys are definitely pushing hard, trying to get all that they can with lap times right now.
How about Brett Moffitt up there in the 8th position? That's the highest he's been this entire race.
Started 17th and was mired back in that 15, 16, 17 spot for much of the first couple of stages.
Yeah, he's actually 7th now as he got by John Hunter Nemechek, so on the move for Brett Moffitt.
Yeah, Haley and Moffitt, you know, they're definitely working the point system, running for a championship, having to play it cool, but this is when you've really got to get up on the wheel and gain as many points and as many spots as you possibly can.
You see the
side by side, just keep going.
And the 4 of Todd Gillen does not want to give that spot up because he knows if he does, he's probably going to lose the spot to the 16 of Moffitt.
He is not letting up, but what happens at this stage in the race is the outside groove starts to groom in a little bit, and you're able to carry some momentum out on the outside. But he's definitely not moving. If he was running for points, do you think he'd move over? Maybe. I don't think he's going to be moving over. He's just plugging away.
Haley digging in that 5th spot. He and Gilliland. Rhodes just ahead.
Moffitt's definitely playing a patience card here, waiting on these two. He's wanting to go, but Gilliland's racing him hard, and he has all the right to do such. There's nothing he's doing wrong. He's just trying to get clear and to get back out in front of Haley. That way he can start to run some lap times and try to chase down the top 5.
Maybe he has a fast truck able to hang in there on the outside like he's doing.
Just can't quite clear the 24.
This is where Haley is being smart. He knows he's running for a championship, and he doesn't want to step over the line, but there's just inches to give. Nobody's giving up any here, and Haley still has to try to make a clean pass because he doesn't want to have a tire rub. He doesn't want to have an issue coming into the next 70 laps.
Haley, the 19-year-old from Winnemac, Indiana, opened the playoffs with a win at Canada, followed it up with a 3rd-place run at Vegas, and then 4th at Talladega. 2.7 his average finish through the first round, and he is backing it up here today at Martinsville. You see the points the bottom left there of the championship standings. And right now, Haley finds himself on the outside by 6 points, so every single position matters. And finally, Haley puts away the 4 of Gilliland.
Yeah, looking at Justin Haley, we've been talking a lot about his performance in the first round of playoffs. Talking with him earlier, he said this is his worst racetrack, but you wouldn't know it judging from his performance so far today. He said if we can get through Martinsville, I feel really good about my performances at Texas Motor Speedway. On that last pit stop, they were able to make a track bar adjustment, and it seems like it has really helped this truck come alive.
Well, Haley's looking to check out now. He's looking to put the distance on Gilliland and get away and get back up towards another spot to be gained.
You see that Johnny Sauter lead a little more than 2 seconds over the 17 of Kyle Benjamin. Now, Benjamin stayed out when the others pitted there at lap 105. Benjamin has not pitted since lap 65, but he stayed out from 22nd to gain all that track position. Right now, it's paying off, Hermie, but how they feel about it?
Yeah, Vince is really, really impressive the way the 17 is able to hold on right now. He last was on pit road lap 65, but he didn't even get tires. Then he got tires earlier in the race, so a big disadvantage on tires. But remember back to the spring, he ran a similar situation, finished second, and really battled towards the end. So great job, Kyle Benjamin. At the 41 of Ben Rhodes, we saw him really put the bumper to John Hunter Nemechek. This is not surprising. I heard his media availability yesterday, and he said, I'm not in the playoffs, but the gloves are off. As a driver, you look back at races or certain laps that you wish you could have back. Still disappointed he got spun out at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. So Ben Rhodes says he'll be as aggressive as he needs to be to try to win down the stretch.
Well, and just because you're not in the playoffs doesn't mean that you don't have 4 races. You can still go out and win. I mean, you still have sponsors to satisfy. I mean, it doesn't diminish your desire to go to victory lane.
Take a look at the 88 of Matt Crafton. He was just able to make the pass on John Nemechek. Let's see how he did it. There's just a little bit of a bump and run. Gets in the back of him, shoves him up the hill a little bit, and then just motors on by. Take another look at it from his visor cam.
I mean, it didn't look like he let off the brake any sooner. It just that Nemechek had trouble maintaining speed through the center of the corner, and that allowed Crafton to use the old chrome horn, move him out of the way, and get to the inside. So I like that move. Look at this Moffitt, though. He is definitely chiseling away and gaining spots, gaining time. Him and Haley running a really smart race right now. And getting back to Benjamin running in the second position. Those are tires from a previous pit stop?
Lap 39, I believe, is when he put tires on that truck.
Kudos to them. They are definitely doing it, and he's definitely laying down the lap times right now.
And remember the 2 trucks in front of Haley, the 13 of Mike Snyder, the 41 of Ben Rhodes, took 2 tires on this most recent pit stop. Haley with 4.
Gotta like the way those tires have held up.
Definitely a lot of different strategies with the 2 and the 4. And so there's Sauter just out front clicking away, running his championship the way he wants to run it.
Justin Haley in that 24 truck right now on the outside of the playoff picture. 7 points behind the cut line, but he is inside the top 5, right at 5th. But Brett Moffitt right behind him, warming up the bumper. It's been an impressive run for Haley, though. Justin told me yesterday when we talked about not having any practice because of the rain, he said the fewer laps I do here, the better. I'm so bad here. Well, he's done a heck of a job to be running where he is.
I think right now, if they end this race and he finishes 5th, he would be tickled to death.
It's always tough at Martinsville, you know. Everybody tries to talk about, well, it's not a good track for me, and just the past history hasn't turned out well. And then when you get into that playoff mode and you've had a good truck all year, sometimes you end up with just a nice solid run where you're happy to get out of there.
Brett Moffitt moves right in on the tailgate of Haley. Moffitt's in the 16.
60 laps remaining here at Martinsville. Johnny Sauter has led 94 laps and continues to click them away. As you look at Brett Moffitt, there's Sauter in that 21. He's now led more than 500 laps this year. That's the most he's ever led in a single season.
What a year it's been for Johnny Sauter. Already 5 wins in the 2018 season.
He's looking to claim his 2nd Truck Series championship.
Well, that crew chief Joe Shear, the combination that they have at every racetrack that they've gone to, short track, intermediate, road course, super speedway, you name it, that 21 truck, he's always up front.
There's the 4 of Gilliland and the 98 of Infinger. They had a little history this season.
Back at Talladega, they were racing for the lead. Kind of late in the going. Todd was running second. Infinger was running first. They got together. Hard contact into the inside safer barrier for Todd Gilliland in that one. Let's take a look at the right side of your screen. You see the 98 moves up the racetrack. As he moves back down, he makes contact with Todd. Hard contact into that inside safer barrier.
That's one of those moves where you're just thinking, what the heck did I just do wrong? And I'm the one that ended up spun. I was just going to make a move for the lead. That's how quick things can change, especially at a plate track.
Infinger was able to put that position away, and we go back to the battle between Haley and Moffitt. That's the battle for 5th.
Most of that time of day where the track is definitely rubbered in the most it's been. The groove is widened out a little bit, and race fans at home, just look at that concrete and the color of it, on how it's darkening up, and that the rubber is spreading out in a lot of different lanes. Now you start to be able to make moves and gain your momentum in different spots on the track instead of just having to stick to the bottom.
And Kurt, it's really getting cloudy, especially down here in turns 3 and 4. It's really darker now. I'm just curious, how do you think that's going to affect these trucks? I'm seeing a lot of brake heat as well. That could be another problem as we race toward the checker.
Yeah, anytime there's cloud cover, it just helps with cooling things down a little bit. As a driver, you go, oh, look, I'm going to get some free grip, because you think the track temp is going to drop a little bit and things won't be continuing to gain as much temperature. But with cloud cover, usually it means a little bit more grip, and it might help these guys on the long run.
Was that a subtle little nudge by the 98 in the back of the 24?
It was, as Haley goes from 5th to 7th. Not only did Brett Moffitt get him, but the 98 of Infinger did as well. Nobody's pressuring Johnny Sauter, though. Look at that. Almost 4.5 seconds for Sauter.
That's the biggest lead we've seen here in 3 or 4 years, I think, in the Truck Series.
Yeah, that different strategy that Benjamin has with his tires, but that just tells you how good Sauter's truck is right now. And then with Snyder and Rhodes on the two-tire sequence, they just haven't had a chance to have a yellow to have those 2 tires cool back off and reset and try to make a run at them.
Remember, Brett Moffitt told us earlier today that they felt like they had a good long-run truck, and we have seen Moffitt continually just march his way to the front.
Didn't we talk about him, how he was glued to 17th early in the race? And
couldn't go anywhere.
What can we do? What are we going to do? And then boom, they start working their way on up.
Todd Gilliland and Matt Crafton now working each other for 8th.
What's interesting today with the KBM trucks, they had the lead early on, running 1-2. It was Gilliland and Gregson. And when they pitted at the end of stage 1, we really haven't seen them work their way back towards the front. I'm curious if their setups have just gone away as the track is rubbered in and they're not quite where they want to be.
Remember, the 18 of Gregson had a bit of an issue on his pit stop at the end of stage number 2, and has not really overcome the track position problem yet.
Yeah, he's still stuck back in 11. But here's Crafton. He's still defending that inside lane, and he's going to have to yield it on this one. John Hunter Nemechek dives to the inside with that run he had off turn 2. And that was a truck. Oh, yeah, little sideways there. We thought he was going to have that left front tire rub, but he's still battling it out.
Crafton had given the fender to the 4 of Gilliland for that position. Nemechek tried to come back and take the spot as well. Didn't pay off for him. And there's the 18 of Noah Gregson, Hermie.
Yeah, you guys mentioned trucks that were stuck back in traffic, and that's where the 18 has been basically since they came off pit road right now, battling to the bottom under John Hunter Nemechek in the 8. The one thing they've constantly been preaching to Noah on this last run, I'd like for Kurt to add on this as well, trouble on the racetrack. Caution, caution.
On the front stretch, it's the 83 of Dawson Cram. So Cram goes around, brings out the yellow. A little bit of contact, but not major damage.
It's definitely getting racy out there as far as guys on the different strategies. And tires are definitely fatigued at this point. This is one of those game changers on who's going to pit, who's going to stay out. That 5-second lead that Johnny Sauter was just enjoying is...
He didn't want to see that caution, did he?
I don't think any of our guys up front are going to give up the track position.
Heel here.
That's Joe Shear saying we're going to stay out here, obviously, but I think maybe some guys outside the top 10 with nothing to lose, go ahead and come in, maybe put some fresh tires in. Everyone should have another set of tires at least in the pits. I don't think Kyle Benjamin, even though he's 135 laps since he's been on pit road, I don't think he gives up second to come to pit road.
Watch the 83 of Cram there as Friesen tried to squeeze underneath him, the contact, and the 83 of Cram goes around.
Let's do say that Stuart Friesen is back on the lead lap. He took the wave around at the end of stage 2 to get back on the lead lap.
Well, that was a bumper cam shove off turn 2. Now here we are going into turn 3.
Camera survived.
Yeah, it did that run. That might have been from a lap previous as far as the contact that ended up happening off turn 4. But it'll be interesting. We'll have to see when the pits open what the call's going to be from some of those guys.
Yeah,
Haley, Crafton,
Gillen, Timothy Peters on pit road, as well as 75 of Parker Kligerman.
Hermie with Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, Vince, the 4 of Todd Gilliland just too tight to make moves back up through traffic. You can see going to the right side, they've already made a wedge adjustment on the left side of the truck, putting on 4 tires on the 4, but he's just too tight, stuck down in that traffic. Needs to roll the center better so the truck will rotate to get a straight shot off the corner. That's what the 4 is battling right now.
Well, and those are decisions that you've got to make as a crew chief, that if the truck's not good enough, we got to come in and change it.
Yeah, he
wasn't going to make a change.
He wasn't going to win the race. He was going backwards from where he was. I think it's a great call by Marcus Richmond. Let's try something. Bring him down pit road, make an adjustment, put 4 tires on, and see if we can race to the end.
Yeah, Marcus Richmond, a 3-time winner as crew chief here at Martinsville. He knows what his driver needs to get to victory lane. It's been a dominating performance from Johnny Sauter, stage 1 and stage 2 winner, and he is out front, but Myatt Snyder dive into the bottom to take the lead.
Bulldozing it in there.
Oh, and Enfinger goes around. Some contact deeper in the pack.
This is that time in the race where everybody's on different tires, and it is nuts. When you have one guy that spins his tires, it creates a chain reaction everywhere.
Go back to about 14th for the fresh tires, but I tell you what, they were not messing around on that restart. How about Myatt Snyder sticking it in there on Johnny Sauter?
Well, he really did. I don't think Johnny expected him to drive up beside him. Johnny got back by Myatt. Not sure if that was before the caution flag was displayed or not.
Tough break for Enfinger. He was 6th before that spin.
Kurt, that's another thing. What you were talking about, you're riding along. He's been really solid this entire race. We come with 40 laps to go. He gets turned around, takes all his track position away.
Yeah, when you're running 5 seconds ahead, just clicking off laps, you're in that zone. But, I mean, this is Johnny Sauter we're talking about. He's a championship contender. He's been running well all year, and he just didn't go down into one deep enough, maybe because his tires weren't ready.
Well, look at all the
the chain reaction back
stacked up.
It's horrible. Christian Eckes didn't go on the restart. Somehow Enfinger gets turned around. The 99 of Purdy, Chase Purdy, gets turned around.
Could have been much more collateral damage than that, but only three trucks had their issues there.
Yeah, that's minimal damage for a lap after a restart at Martinsville.
A bad break for Enfinger, though, who was running up well inside the top 10 and had shown strength throughout the course of the day, and now finds himself losing 15 spots or so.
Yeah, they did put the 13 of Myatt Snyder back out in front of Johnny Sauter.
And Sauter's got quite a bit of damage on the left side of his truck. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the roles are reversed now.
Yeah, this restart's going to be interesting.
Snyder, are you going to take the inside or are you going to take the outside?
You're not going to be able to get away from Johnny Sauter, whichever lane you take.
Watch this restart here in the front row and watch the dive from the 13 of Snyder inside of the 21 of Sauter.
Yeah, Sauter's thinking at this point, it's cool. And Snyder's like, nope, I see a window, I'm going for it. Can't fault the kid for not shoving it down in there, but that was definitely an aggressive move to a championship leader.
Coming off his best career finish last time out at Talladega, a runner-up finish. As you mentioned, Kurt, a lot of damage to the left side. It looks like the tires are up. Obviously, all the letters have been rubbed off the tires, but I don't see any low tires there.
Yeah, hopefully it won't have so much damage for him or any kind of issue or tire rub for later on. But that's this point in the race. There's so many different cycles, and the crew chiefs are just like, well, our job is done. we've made our bed. We have to let our driver lay in it, and he's got to do all he can to be able to navigate inside or outside, fresher tires or older tires. And then there's guys running for a championship, and there's guys running for the race win. Down to you, Caitlin.
Yeah, Kurt, listening to the 98 team of Grant Enfinger, Jeff Hensley, the crew chief, trying to keep his driver calm right now. Before that happened on track, he actually was complaining about having some power issues. So he said, go ahead and take all the tape off the nose. We'll go ahead and put 4 fresh tires on it, try and get clearance on that left rear tire as well, and see if they can't still have hopes for a championship and some points here today. Hermie.
You guys, we were talking about the 18 of Noah Gregson when the caution came out, and the one thing that they've been working with Noah is not picking up the throttle too quickly in the center of the corner, letting the truck roll through the center before they get it pointed off the corner. Now, he is fighting a free on entry condition. Rudy Fugle did not want to come down pit road and lose that track position, so they have asked him to put more front brake in this 18 truck to try to help him when he gets on the brakes on entry in the corner in these final 35 laps.
Keep our eye on that for sure. How about radio from Johnny Sauter after that restart?
I'll tell you what, if you get a spot, I showed no mercy to that little. There's no sense in that.
Well, some team communication there, and
that was a spotter.
Yep.
Yeah, caught it by surprise. But
crew chief Joe Shear Jr.
It's hard to fault him, though. I mean, it's hard to fault him because he drove in there. As you mentioned, Johnny was just being a little bit conservative, getting in the corner. Didn't want to slide up into the outside into Benjamin.
It's one of those things where you're running for a championship, and then with Snyder, you're running for a race win. That's when you have the clash of opinions, differences, and the way you're attacking on restarts.
Snyder, Rookie of the Year candidate, and the leader in the Rookie of the Year points. Watch him dive in here on Sauter in that 21.
Definitely threw it in there deep. I mean, Sauter did not expect that, not one bit. And that sometimes is that feel of you were just out there with a 5-second lead, but you got to switch over. You got to defend. And
put yourself in Sauter's shoes. Are you mad at Myatt Snyder after that move?
I am definitely on my heels going, whoa, what was that all about? But I got to put my thinking cap back on and go, I've got 35 laps left in this race. I'm running for a championship, and I can't not let this little guy and his move take away the run we've had today.
I think we all know Johnny Sauter enough to know that he was very mad when that happened. He probably lost his cool. The spotter was just the calm equation in that combination. So this restart is going to be crazy interesting to see if Schneider dives too deep into the corner and slides him and Sauter both up out of the groove. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, I think that radio was the only bit of radio we could play. It would be my guess was the radio from Tab Boyd.
Some of that was beeped, I think. So.
Hey, I checked the stat book. Johnny Sauter's 40 years old now. He can definitely pull the veteran card when he wants. That's my age.
Snyder trying to get his first career win. Got to take those shots when you get them.
How about Moffitt has made his way all the way up to the third spot in the 16. He might be in the catbird seat right here on this restart.
Snyder on the inside and Sauter on the outside. Restarting, going to bring us to 33 to go. And now Moffitt taking a look on the inside.
Holding our breath here, but it looks like Sauter's going to clear off turn 2 and try to set sail like he was early on, but Snyder's not having it. He's right there.
Moffitt getting underneath Benjamin, going to secure that third spot. Hope so. But how about Kyle Benjamin hanging in there? Has not had tires since, what, lap 39?
39. He tried to pull it to the inside there and put on a good line on entry, but he is definitely doing an exceptional job on the 17 truck, trying to help hold on with those way old tires. I mean, it's Suro, but Moffitt doing his deal, just keeps plugging away as a veteran, grabbing those spots when he can when other people make mistakes.
Yeah, it's been a great run for that 16 of Moffitt. They haven't had back-to-back top 10 finishes since March. In fact, when they were here in March, and it just you wonder about that inconsistency and what that might cost them in the championship chase, but they have been spot on today. So impressive.
Look at Benjamin holding him off up there, Phil. I mean, he's going to try to come back down to the inside and hold him off still. Chain reaction. Everybody starts piling up. 16, 41, 8. Everybody's going to start getting a little bit more impatient as these laps click off.
I think Benjamin in the spring had the oldest tires among the guys battling for the win, and he ended up second in that race. So he knows how to manage these older tires.
He's doing a great job. I mean, I'm hoping I'm not learning any bad habits for my race tomorrow. I'd take fresh tires over old tires anytime.
I want to hear that paper flapping on those sticker tires.
Pretty impressive for just his second start in the Truck Series, as you see Matt Crafton now in that 88 trying to make his way toward the top 10.
And how about Stuart Friesen battling back after that flat tire and spin, racing just outside the top 10?
Yeah, he's made his way back on the lead lap and
got the free pass
with Gilliland. He came in and got tires on that pit stop. I don't think Crafton did. So Crafton's definitely trying to hang on here. He's falling back to 13th with those older tires. Not necessarily in a good spot. No. Getting into points like he needs to.
Johnny Sauter continues to lead while you watch the view of Matt Crafton. A little contact with Todd Gilliland there in the 13th and 12th positions.
Love the visor cam, though. It puts you right in the battle. And the key thing about any time you're at a short track is not staring at that truck in front of you. You have to absorb and look ahead and look at Friesen, look at Gregson, look beyond all the way up to that white truck, and then just grab those other trucks in front of you in your peripheral vision.
He really hardly even sees that truck in front of him. Isn't that right, Kurt? I mean, it's there, but he's not concentrating at all on that truck.
You're concentrating on your 4 tires and looking ahead, and if you do catch yourself looking at that guy's tailgate, then you're all wrong and you're out of sequence.
Moffitt making another run at Benjamin and secures that spot this time. So Brett Moffitt into the 3rd position. And now Ben Rhodes right to the back bumper of that 17.
Remember, Ben Rhodes only 2 tires on his last stop, but they're a lot newer than the 17 of Benjamin's. Looks like Ben's going to get to the inside.
He tried. He was just touching him. He was kind of like moving him out of the way, like one polite push of the hand, push of the nose of the truck.
Just a suggestion.
You should move over. I'm coming through.
And he does.
Makes the pass clean.
Benjamin slips back to 5th.
But this will be a time now for Benjamin just to settle back in and run some laps. But looks like we got John Hunter Nemechek on pit road. Is he under power?
It's awfully slow.
Like it.
It looks like he's slower than pit road speed.
Turn in right there.
Taking it into the garage.
Tough
John
break.
Hunter Nemechek.
That left front tire held. We speculated that it may not, but some other sort of an issue for John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, I hate that. That's a great sponsor to have on that truck. And yeah, we thought the left front tire would go first, but something else happened there.
Johnny Sauter by more than a second and a half out front of Myatt Snyder. Snyder coming off a runner-up finish at Talladega, but he has got company. Brett Moffitt. How about the move that Moffitt has made today? He finished 14th in stage 1, 9th in stage 2, and now he's heating up Myatt Snyder for that 2nd spot.
Remember, he finished 3rd here in the spring, so he knows how to get around this racetrack.
Camping World 20 to go here at Martinsville, and those 20 will go by quickly. Doesn't take long to get around this half mile.
It sure will. Running 21-second lap times. Moffitt, I was just going to tell you, hey, buddy, you don't have a mark on your truck. And he's using the old chrome horn to move Snyder out of the way. You can tell Moffitt has run a really smart race, and he hasn't gained many stage points yet today, so he's definitely trying to cash in and get up to 2nd spot. And that would also give him an opportunity on the restart to be on the front row.
If he does get to us, I think we'd be smart here, though. Okay. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather finish 3rd than be wrecked.
Technically, if you're Snyder, you would want him to go by. That way you get back to 3rd and you line up on the inside on a restart. Yes, and go back to that spot that he was in when he tried to dive bomb Sauter.
That was crew chief Rich Lushes and Brett Griffin, the spotter, talking about it.
Some big picture racing there and understanding the significance of just getting a good, strong finish today. And for a rookie driver like Myatt Snyder, that is important.
Yeah, and keep piling him up, too. We mentioned he had a runner-up finish at Talladega for his career best. Let's put another top 3 with that.
He's definitely getting his feet underneath him and finding different speed at different tracks and finding the rhythm. If you do it at a big track, that's one thing. Do it at a short track, that's another, and that's when you're starting to move forward and getting your comfort level.
Noah Gregson inside of Timothy Peters, and that's going to be for 8th.
Gregson definitely leads this spot. He's had a quiet day. He wants to gain those stage points, but here, this is towards the finish. You got to pour it all in there right now. There's no more holding back.
Yeah, if we go another 15 laps and this camera survives, you're going to owe us $1 too, Kurt.
I'll pay at the $1. He tried to just nudge it off right there. It's like he was listening.
Moffitt's been into the back of Snyder a couple times here.
Oh, he's gonna have a spot now.
Yeah, you gotta believe the patience is running thin, and they're telling him, go ahead and give that spot up. And Moffitt will take the position from Myatt Snyder.
He's going to come back low into 3 to kind of throw the block at Rhodes.
Going to have a bad angle.
Rhodes is just going to start to move him out of the way. Is that back bumper technical inspection height anymore? Look at that thing. It's been moved.
I think you can drive under that back bumper right now.
But he's running 3rd. Nobody cares.
Ben Rhodes in 4th. Had such a great run here in the spring. Having another one backing it up here today as Crafton continues to try to work on the 4 of Gilliland.
Crafton's got to gain these spots. He is on the outside looking in. And a little slip up there. Should be able to get to the inside and get a clean drive off. And you should be able to outbrake him going into 3.
Got Enfinger right behind him. Remember, fresh tires on that 98 of Enfinger.
Oh, Crafton's working hard. He is loose on entry there, especially with Enfinger on his rear tailgate. That got him loose getting in. That was tough. But Crafton has to fight. He's got to fight. He's -10 right now. And the way his truck, the way that him and his crew chief, Junior Joyner, all year long, they just haven't quite had that raw speed. He's got to fight for these spots.
10 to go here at Martinsville. The 4 of Todd Gilliland started on pole today, but right now finds himself 12th. Johnny Sauter out front.
Remember how good the KBM trucks were in qualifying. 1, 2, 3. Maybe as it got cloudy and this racetrack changed, maybe that didn't fit with their setup, because right now the highest running KBM truck is Harrison Burton in 7th, Gregson in 8th, and you have Todd Gilliland back in 12th.
The track's changed so much from the green racetrack that it was this morning. And I say green, that means there's no rubber on it. It's fresh and it grabs the tires. Now that it's rubbered in and you see all this dark patches everywhere, it's slicker. It's harder to get a hold of. And your setup is completely different. I wish right now we could go run Monster Energy Cup Series Happy Hour after the truck race, because then it would resemble more of what we're going to race tomorrow for 500 laps.
Than what your previous practice was.
And so that's why some of the KBM trucks qualify good, and then the setup just seems to fall off. But I'll tell you what, Sauter all day long. Just clicking off laps. You know, Moffitt has worked his way from qualifying poorly up into 2nd. So sometimes you got to just play the tortoise approach and work him and get him at the end.
Johnny Sauter getting ready to come to the line. There'll be 6 to go as we take a look at our 4 track facts. Martinsville, first one of 2 tracks where the series has competed in all 24 seasons, and be going to Phoenix and ISM Raceway in a couple of weeks.
It'll be a great one out there. Start-finish line's going to be over in what used to be turn 2, right?
There's going to be a lot of will you be confused by that?
Oh, for sure. I'm in the over 40 club. I don't know which corner is going to be which.
5 to go.
Johnny Sauter with over a 3-second lead right now is saying, please, everyone, be calm. No caution flags here.
Yeah, he definitely wants this to go green to the end. And then Benjamin running top 5. He wants to hang on to that top 5 spot. It's been an interesting race on how the strategies unfolded, and everybody survived on those restarts for the most part, other than Effinger, with the way that he got turned around.
See the points there in the bottom left with Johnny Sauter came in as the leader and certainly doing nothing to harm his chances at a championship with his run here today. Gregson, Moffitt, Enfinger, with Justin Haley and Matt Crafton on the outside. They were both on the outside looking in when this race started, and things have changed a couple of different times, but there they find themselves again sitting 5th and 6th.
Solid run though for Justin Haley. Qualified outside the top 10. Right now running in the 6th spot. If he can maintain that with Harrison Burton, the 51 right on his tailgate, I think you'll be happy with that.
Yeah, gold star for him today, and Moffitt as well. But I tell you, it's been a Johnny Sauter kind of day.
Final couple of laps. Johnny Sauter into turn 3. He'll take the white flag this time. Johnny Sauter, half mile to go for Sauter. 5 wins this season for Johnny Sauter, and he's about to add to the total. And with this win, he will secure his spot in the championship 4. Johnny Sauter will get his 4th win at Martinsville. No one has won more in the truck than Johnny Sauter.
Fantastic job from that team today. Way to go. Automatic berth to the Homestead round. Battle for championship.
There's Joe
job,
Shear,
boys.
crew chief. Great job, buddy.
Good job, guys. Great job.
There have been others to win 3 races here at Martinsville in the truck. Nobody has ever won 4 until today. Johnny Sauter wins for the 4th time. To get that grandfather clock.
He won in every room at Johnny Sauter's house.
He's all fired up. Burn it down, Johnny. Probably don't need that engine anymore, right?
Huge win for Sauter to secure his spot in the Final 4 and a chance at the championship at Homestead. Hermie?
Well, Joe's 6th win on the season, and you guys are going to Homestead to race for another championship. What a dominating performance. Did you have any idea before the race started you'd had this kind of a truck?
Well, yeah, we always run good here. You know, I love this place. Johnny loves us. We're a bunch of short track racers. But, you know, NASCAR threw us for a little loop here with no practice, so we just put our old setup in it and tweaked on it a little bit. And it shows how good this team is and how good Johnny is here.
That's Joe Shear. His team and Johnny Sauter is going to victory lane at Martinsville.
Yeah, it says they're short track guys, and they are indeed. They won 2 of the 5 short track races this season, winning at Bristol and then backing it up with the win here today at Martinsville. Johnny Sauter, a dominating performance. Led 149 laps, led stage 1, stage 2, and won the race. Next Friday night, we'll be in the Lone Star State in Texas. Another opportunity for somebody to punch their ticket to Homestead and a shot at the championship.
And who won that race? We were there in June.
Oh, that was
Johnny Sauter.
Johnny Sauter
Yeah.
won this race at Texas last fall. And in fact, he won at Texas and then he won at Phoenix as well. So don't mess around with Sauter. He might just go on a run right to the finish. Hey, what a good run for Brett Moffitt today. Finished 2nd. Caitlin?
Yeah, Vince, runner-up for Brett. Him just telling me the most disappointing second-place finish he's had. How would you kind of assess your team effort and your day here in Martinsville?
From where we started the day, I thought we were really good. We didn't unload the best, we didn't qualify the best, but we got there by the end. It's a bummer we didn't get a bunch of stage points like we needed to, but a 2nd-place finish, and the guys work hard at HRE. I got to thank Toyota, TRD, Andy, Tyler, and Jack, everyone that's gone to bat for us, and Mark Conquest and these Joe Gibbs engines. So, you know, we've had badass tools all year long, and just thankful they get to let us use them. And also Ison and A&W North Carolina for everything they do in making this race team happen.
Nicely done. 10th top 5 performance so far this year for Brett. Michael?
I've caught up with Justin, Haley, Caitlin, and I've heard you talk for 2 days about how bad you are here. You finished 6th. That's an awesome performance.
Well, first of all, you made me sit on this wall because you're so tall and I'm so short that the camera would have just cut you off at your neck. But really good performance out of the GMS crew. Everyone at Fraternal Order of Eagles. Really proud of that. Really have not been the best at Martinsville. We got 5 starts here and only 1 top 10. So finished 6th. Keeping the momentum going. We had a really good round of 8. Starting off round of 6 pretty well too.
Very solid round of 8. And then today, this performance has to make you feel very confident about heading to Miami with a chance for a title.
Yeah, I mean, we got speed over at GMS. Obviously, Johnny kicked our ass today. He was very fast. So I'm really proud of what we've been bringing. No practice, just go out there and unload off the hauler. Maybe we should start doing that more often. But no, just really proud. It was a really good day, and hopefully we can keep performances like that up so we can be in the round 4.
Right on. Vince?
Yeah, well done indeed. They really like their chances going to Texas because right now he finds himself a couple of points on the outside of the cut line while Sauter has punched his ticket to Homestead. Gregson and Moffitt with solid efforts today that padded their lead a little bit, and Enfinger just above the cut line. And the winners in victory lane, and Hermie's there.
Johnny Sauter climbs out of this 21 truck. Victory lane at Martinsville. 4th win at this racetrack. Not sure I've seen one any more dominant than one you got today. Johnny, I was talking to Joe Shear, your 4th win at this racetrack, and you did this one today. A little chilly? A little chilly? You did this one today with no practice. What a dominating performance by your team. I asked him, I'll ask you the same question. When did you know you had what you needed to dominate this race like you did today?
I didn't know. You know, these guys busted their tails. Everybody at GMS chassis shop, fabrication, everybody there. Suspension room, body shop, everybody. You know, we came here and they did a lot of work with a new setup. Had it all ready to go. We come here and it's raining and I'm like, now what? And he's like, you got to put the old stuff in. We can't run that. So, yeah, I'm just so proud of everybody. ISM Connect, Chevrolet, thank you so much. Allegiant Travel, Sunseeker Resorts, just it's a good day to be in a Chevrolet, I can tell you that. So just say hi to my wife and kids. So proud of these guys. Pit stops were awesome. You know, just track position seems to be the name of the game here anymore, and just got to thank everybody. This is a big win.
And if there's such a thing as smooth sailing, you had it going until the next to the last restart, then you had a little drama. What were you feeling, and what did you see on that restart with the 13?
Yeah, you know, I felt like I had a good restart, but obviously I'm not sure that he would have made the corner if he didn't dive bomb it in there. I was like, oh, he's inside. I'm like, okay, but you know, I had really good grip on the outside, so I felt like compelled to almost take the outside groove. That leaves you open to get a bonsai shot. So just so proud of everybody at GMS, and thank the Sacred Heart of Jesus, bless His Mother. October's the month of the Rosary, so it's been a good one, and we're going to Homestead, race for championship. That's what it's all about.
That's Johnny Sauter. He's victorious at Martinsville.
Yeah, got it.
In convincing fashion, Sauter leading 149 of the 200 laps today, and Johnny Sauter wins at Martinsville for the 4th time. Welcome back to Martinsville. You know, for the first time ever, NASCAR Race Hub presents the Fans' Choice Awards, where you get the chance to vote on your favorite moments from this season.
Fans' Choice Awards! We choose Austin Dillon wins the Great American Race.
Best paint scheme.
Best crew chief. Best command.
Y'all ready to roll ball? Start your engine! Best celebration. Glenn Boyer. He's your winner in Michigan.
You need to vote. Wildest wreck.
Radio sweetheart.
He's such a dip. What a waste of space.
Vote, vote, vote.
Yes, vote. Voting continues all next week, so tune into NASCAR Race Hub each night, 6 o'clock Eastern, to find out the daily category. And the Race Fans' Choice Awards will air in November on FS1. Let's check in downstairs with Caitlin.
Grant Enfinger ended up 14th here today at Martinsville Speedway. Still 2 points to the good. I know you were struggling with some power issues there towards the end. What all were you dealing with throughout the course of that race?
Yeah, just a frustrating day. Brakes were starting to go away about 30 or 40 laps in, and the alternator went out. And then I don't know if we drove through or if he was there. I got called clear, and I went to the bottom, and next thing I know, we were wrecking down there in 1 and 2. So pretty unfortunate day because we had a good Protect the Harvest Ford F-150. I feel like we're a solid top 5 truck all day. So pretty frustrating not to get the finish we deserve.
Thank you.
Myatt Snyder, Johnny Sauter had a dominant truck. He's a championship leader, but you saw an opportunity and you pounced on it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't not take those opportunities here at Martinsville Speedway. You know, somebody leaves the door open and you just got to take it. So, you know, I'm sure he would have done the same move if it was me. So, you don't regret those moves, but of course you don't want to rough anybody up, especially a guy like that. But no, I'm just proud of everybody on this 13 team. We brought up a great Louisiana Hot Sauce Ford Performance Ford F-150. So I'm so proud of these guys because we made some huge improvements over the last Martinsville race. So yeah, just an awesome race for us and gained some points, I think. So good day.
You made the end fun. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, nice job indeed. A 2nd and a 3rd in back-to-back races for Myatt Snyder, the leader in the Rookie of the Year category. So Myatt's having a good end of the season with some strong runs. How about, Kurt, what'd you take away? What's jumped out at you and impressed you from this race today?
Right away, Johnny Sauter just came into this, put the stamp on how he's going to run for this championship. The toughest day award I would go to Enfinger. Just didn't quite survive that restart battle. But all in all the championship contenders seemed to have a decent day. I mean, Noah Gragson ended up in the top 10 and didn't lose any points.
I really thought that maybe how the strategy would play out is if a guy went on to get stage points like Johnny Sauter did, he might not be in position to win the race. Well, he proved us wrong. He had such a dominant truck. He's punched his ticket to Homestead. We knew that he would be one of the guys to beat. Now I think it's his championship right now to lose.
What impressed me was Kyle Benjamin. I mean, he pitted last for tires at lap 39, came again for fuel at 65, and went all the way at another top 5 in his 2 races in a truck. He's been runner-up and 5th in the 2 races here at Martinsville. Really impressed with that young guy.
How does this guy not get more opportunities to get in a good vehicle?
Yeah, so impressive. Now we go to Texas. That's the next time, and quite a different track than what we saw here today. Does that benefit anybody in particular, you think, Phil?
Well, Johnny Sauter is going to be really good. I think it's really too early to call. I think we're going to have so many guys there in contention, and guys are going to be jockeying for playoff points and for stage points. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. For Hermie Sadler, Caitlin Vincie, Micah Waltrip, Phil Parsons, and Kurt Busch, I'm Vince Welch. Coming up next, FS1 College Football. Big 12 action live from Lawrence, Kansas, as the Horned Frogs of TCU take on the Kansas Jayhawks.